Hello and welcome to another stream of Alan Wake Remastered, playing on Nightmare mode, doing an in-depth playthrough, as part of RodLegionWeen. Hey there Talion, good morning again, welcome back to you. And Alan, absolutely. I was in the musical group, got blanket, we were a cover band. Thanks for redeeming the Arnie impression, Mr. Gote. Nice pun there, in that joke. Shit. We're up to episode 4. Quilting in the name of... The lyrics for that could also be, fuck you, I won't sew what you tell me.
Previously on Alan Wake, I'm hunted by the law.
Sheriff, Wake's running. I'm giving chase.
Are you seriously telling me that writer just took out my deputies?
A thriller I supposedly wrote is coming true. The genre of the story seems to be shifting. It's turning into a horror story. I was told that Alice had been kidnapped, but that was a lie.
We don't have his wife. We don't know where she is.
Her purported kidnapper was eaten up by the dark presence before it attacked me.
Alan, shh, baby. It was just a nightmare.
Alice.
There you go, Alan.
Hartman. I fell.
I had to give you a sedative. Don't fight it. You went through another rough period.
What?
Right now, it's very important that you stay calm. We don't want you to have another episode. You're a patient at my clinic. Have been for a while now. The shock of your wife's death triggered a mental illness.
No, you're lying.
You're suffering from various symptoms of undifferentiated schizophrenia.
Bastard.
It's okay, Alan. Just let go.
I felt groggy. Whatever Hartman had bumped in me was making me numb. I felt like this was happening to someone else. Someone I was watching on television. I couldn't think. Couldn't focus.
Good evening, Alan. Are we feeling better now? Feeling calm?
Yeah, I see you brought your pet gorilla with you. So sure, I'm calm. I get the message, loud and clear.
Why, right. That's the spirit. You're being very brave, Alan. I understand you're confused. I would be more concerned if you weren't suspicious of me. I don't blame you for it.
Big of you.
Now, why don't you come with me? We'll reacquaint you with my clinic and go over everything you might have forgotten. Little walk and some fresh air? Yes, it will do you good.
I love how Hartman doesn't say anything if you just stay in this room and don't move. He's not like, Alan, Alan, some walk would do you good. It's okay. You've bumped your head. It's understandable that you would not want to follow me, but you must.
This corridor is for patients. Most of them aren't here right now. Jack took them out for a fishing trip, except for the ones who are particularly vulnerable, of course. I encourage creativity as a part of the recovery process here at Cauldron Lake Lodge. I specialize in treating artists.
I bet you do.
Splendid, Alan. I honestly believe we can get this thing under control if we work together. This way, Alan.
Still nothing. Alan's just going backwards and forwards into different rooms, and they're just like, this is normal, everyday behavior.
Now, Alan, from past experience with you, I know I need to get right into the heart of the matter as quickly as I can after an episode. So I'm just going to say this. Alice is dead.
No.
You're in a very vulnerable state until you understand and accept this. Alice drowned, and you couldn't face that. You're suffering from hallucinations, paranoid delusions, unusual thinking, an obsession about light and darkness, a feeling that everything revolves around you, your thoughts and dreams. Your mind has constructed an elaborate fantasy scenario in which your writings are affecting reality. She has been kidnapped, and supernatural forces of darkness are trying to stop you.
I like how Hartman doesn't even say anything if we try to go through his door.
We go this way, Alan.
I wasn't ready for another shot, so I went along with it. He had to be lying. But under the influence of the drug he had given me, I had to fight not to believe his words.
It's all in your head. You've been making it up. Apart from the tragic accident with your wife, no one has been killed. Your delusions are just a manifestation of your subconscious mind trying to protect you from the too painful truth. Unless we fight the fantasy, it will return. I know the instinct is to resist me, but think about it. Doesn't this make far more sense than the insane supernatural conspiracy you have concocted in your mind? You're a skeptic by nature, Alan. We both know this. Everything can be explained logically.
Nothing supernatural, hey? Well, how do you explain this door locking itself, Hartman? It's like that game of red light or traffic or whatever you call it. Whenever Hartman turns around, we have to stop. Whoa, that looks trippy with the textures and the camera movement. Beyond the shadow you settle for, there's a miracle illuminated. Thomas Zane. In the memory of a dear friend and a poet.
I never get tired of this view. Very inspiring, isn't it?
Cauldron Lake spread below us. I could see Mirror Peak on the other side of the lake. I thought I could make out the spot where Diver's Isle had been when I arrived with Alice. Now there was nothing but waves.
It seems there's a storm coming. Funny, I don't recall there being a mention of that in the weather forecast. Well, no matter. This way. Follow me. Alan, what I'm telling you is good news. Right now we're in control. Every time you have a relapse, it gets more and more difficult to resurface from the dark depths of your imagination. Not surprising, considering your profession. Imagination is what you work with. After all your nightmares, this should come as an immense relief to you. If it doesn't, why is that? Because I'm lying? Or because you don't want to admit that you're not well? It's very natural for you to think of me as your enemy. It's part of the illness.
I let him talk.
After all,
Hartman
I'm the
obviously
one
loved
trying
his
to
own
bring you
voice.
out of the
His
world
words
you've
echoed
constructed
madly
for
inside
yourself.
my head.
But I
I dug
can't
my
do
nails
it
into
by
the palms of
myself.
my hands to stay
You need
focused.
to work with me. Once you accept that, we can begin the journey towards your recovery. Come along. Let's go inside.
Hello, Anasune. How's things been? Anderson, you've been doing good. Well, that's good to hear. That's great. Looks like Alan Wake 2 comes out tomorrow. I thought it was Friday, but maybe I might be wrong. Maybe you might get it when you have the money. Oh, cool. Yeah. No, I'm very much looking forward to Alan Wake 2. I've been looking forward to that for many years. Harbinger, is this the same Hartman as in Control? By the time you face him in Control, he's no longer any kind of like aspect of himself anymore, really. I think he's been completely taken over, that he becomes the thing that was... The thing that... What do they call it? The thing that once was Hartman, or something like that. But this is the Hartman who, when you play Control and you hear those audio sessions with him, he's the Hartman that they're talking to. But by the time you fight him in Control, the Hartman that he once was is completely gone. Yeah, I thought so. Because I was trying to think too what it said when I pre-ordered the game as well, when it said when it would release. There's just something ominous about complete silence. And he's not saying anything but looking at Alan. Hartman is not saying anything, looking at Alan. The nurse is looking, at Alan, not saying anything. All the other people are just like, doing whatever they're doing. So for those who might be wondering, why the fuck aren't you moving? In order to trigger all the dialogue, I need to make sure that I'm not going too fast through.
Here's the entrance to the office wing. That's for staff only. You were impressed by my trophies when you first arrived here. I do love to hunt. The great outdoors, man versus nature. It's wonderful stuff.
Pretty damn wonderful, yeah. Scary, scary, scary.
Emerson.
I'm a real bad dream, mister. You should be afraid of me. Don't want to run into me in the night, that's for sure.
Please, Emerson. Mr. Wake is confused enough as it is.
Yeah, you'd like me to go away so you won't be scared. But you can't just decide what kind of dream you have or when you have it.
Emerson.
Okay. Sorry. Boo.
That's Emerson. We're actually making some progress with him, I'm happy to say. He works on video games.
Ooh, yeah.
It's trash, of course, but it does involve some small creative effort, which makes him receptive to my therapeutic methods.
No kidding.
Alan, please, this way.
Hartman had mentioned that the power had been acting up. Maybe that was the reason for the generator and the work light on the balcony. The generator hadn't been activated, and there was no key.
Alright, not getting them in this playthrough. How many of you thought that rod.exe stopped working? Not moving, looking at Alan. Oh no. Need to be careful if I want to trigger all the dialogue in the game. I understand the other day you got a game and it ended up being pretty short, ended up finishing everything in it. Main story, side missions, collectibles, upgrades, outfits, even trophies in about 4 days. Shortest game that you've played so far. That definitely does sound like a short game, even with all the other stuff on top. Side missions, collectibles, upgrades, outfits, and trophies. Did it have a lot of trophies?
Oh, hello. I've painted you.
Okay.
I was just struck by inspiration a couple of days ago. Dr. Hartman wanted me to paint landscapes, and that's what I was doing. But now I've been doing these things, a lot of them. The images just keep coming. Dr. Hartman likes them. He has them in his office.
Yeah?
He's very proud of me. He says I'm getting much better. I think I'm getting better. Well, I guess I'd better start wrapping this up. The storm is almost here. Look at that. I'd hate to be out there tonight.
This is a character that can be easily missed because he's out of the way of the other ones as well. Anasune, you don't think so? You think half of them were connected to story points? Oh, of course, yeah. Yeah, the tying of that to progression in story. Ahoy there, Grace. Welcome on in. Good morning to you.
You might have noticed the typewriter in your room. You've been writing as a part of the therapy. As soon as you feel up to it, you should continue.
Harmonger, with a heavy heart, you uninstall Resident Evil 2 Remake to make room for Last of Us, but you have to go back to it in the future for your last 2 achievements. You want to get Hardcore S for both Claire and Leon, not just any rank Hardcore. That's definitely understandable. I know what that's like, having to delete a game to be able to make room for another game, and then once that game is finished, delete that game to make room for the game that you just deleted. I understand that. You mean you weren't expecting it to be long, since you think Insomniac prefers to try to prioritize fun games over long ones. Yeah. Well, that's it. I don't mind if a game is short as long as it's fun. Like if it's a short game and crappy, then it's understandable to be upset. But if it's short but really, really fun, it doesn't worry me. I'm doing well, Grace. Yeah, things are going good. Having a good week so far. Doing a deep dive playthrough on Alan Wake in the lead up to Alan Wake 2 coming up. The Creator's Dilemma, the engaging new book by Dr. Emil Hartmann, the author of the best-selling Creative Flow. His groundbreaking techniques, engagement therapy, and the flow explained in his own words. Now available in bookstores across the country. I understand it'll be interesting what they do with the next Spider-Man, since they seem to have set up some villains. Yeah. That's the thing, you don't never know really. Sometimes they set up things, but they don't continue it in the way that you thought. Like, before Batman Arkham City came before Batman Arkham City came out, I just assumed that it would pick up where Asylum left off, like literally. Batman goes from the Asylum to dealing with Two-Face in Gotham City, but that didn't happen, of course. So sometimes they set things up for the next game, but it doesn't necessarily directly pick up from where the other one left off. Cheers, Grace. Lots of anticipation for Alan Wake 2. Hopefully it turns out good. Yeah, I've definitely been looking forward to it for a while. I didn't play the original game until 2015, so it'd been out for 5 years by that point, but when I did, though, it was like, yep, this is an awesome game, and ever since then I've made sure to play it at least once a year. And so I've been very much looking forward to Alan Wake 2. Grace, you still haven't played it, so you're doing better than me. Seen lots of people play it though. Yeah, and there's so many different kinds of playthroughs you can do with it too. And this one that I'm currently doing is probably the most meticulous playthrough that I've done in terms of trying to get the dialogue. Like before, I've tried to get all the dialogue, but not in the exact same way that I've been doing it for this playthrough. Like going back the wrong way on purpose, going back in different increments, only moving forward shortly, standing around waiting for what might be said, continue on, see what characters might say if you don't do anything straight away. You know, things like that as well. Interact with things that aren't what you need to interact with, but just to get the dialogue of Alan saying something and other characters saying stuff. How do you think Last of Us would be easier with keyboard and mouse? Well, I don't know, because whenever I've played PC games using a keyboard and mouse, I've preferred first-person shooter games with the keyboard and mouse. But with third person, I prefer controller. Welcome to Cauldron Lake Lodge. We're here to give you the specialized help you need. However, please observe the following. Please ask friends and family to schedule visits beforehand to ensure they don't interfere with your therapy and/or periods of creativity. Also, please respect your fellow patients' need for privacy and personal space, especially when they're engaged by their creative processes. Be patient. Typically, our patients have long-term creative problems, and they won't be solved overnight. Give yourself permission to take the time you need. Bear in mind that you're voluntarily receiving treatment that has been specifically tailored for you. Engagement therapy and its sister method, the flow, work best when you are actively engaged in shaping them. If you have any concerns, please don't hesitate to voice them. Haven't you follow? Dr. Hartman does exactly the opposite. That's true. It's interesting, before he moved into position where he's standing now, he wasn't actually programmed to look at Alan depending on which direction he's facing. Because I came around this way when he was in another position and he didn't even turn around. But now that I've progressed things further to position him in that spot, he's now programmed to actually look at Alan where he's moving, of course. Round one. Fight! Harbinger, so where's the challenge goal to play Control even after October? There won't be, because I never said that I was going to do that. I said that Control may be taken off the schedule to be able to fit in what I want to do. But there was no mentioning that I was going to make it something I do in November. In fact, I already have plans for what I want to do in November. But I won't say what they are yet because I want them to be a bit of a surprise. And demanding things for the channel doesn't mean I'm going to cave in. So even if I did have plans to play Control in November, maybe I've decided not to now.
My rheumatism's killing me. There's a storm coming. Oh, what a storm.
I hope it wipes this place off the face of the earth.
And these two are the Anderson brothers, Odin and Tor. They had how should I put this? A heavy metal band in the 70s and 80s called Old Gods of Asgard. They even adopted new first names to complete the image of Viking gods. After the band broke up, they lived on a farm nearby. They are, well, in advanced stages of dementia. They're well cared for, TLC and all that. There's nothing more that can be done. I'm afraid that the rock and roll lifestyle has left its mark. Oh, that won't do. I'm so sorry to cut this short for now, Alan. The power has been acting up. I'd better go check on it. We'll continue this soon. Meanwhile, when you feel up to it, return to your room and try to write. It really is for the best. Don't you think?
I'd like to bash his head in with a hammer.
Oh, he'd love to fish out our secrets, but he has no clue. He's not crazy enough. Not crazy like us, Sonny.
Yeah!
Being crazy's a requirement, Sonny. Who else could understand the world when it's like this? It takes crazy to know crazy.
That's the sanest thing I've heard in a while.
Zane! You're all right, Tom. Hey, we like him, don't we, bro? He's got to go to the farm.
The Anderson Farm. Valhalla!
We wrote it all down, lest we forget. A crash course. All you need to know to get your head right. You need to find the message.
Here, Sonny, here's something for you. Gave me a rash, but I kept it safe from these bastards.
My head was clearing up, or according to Hartman, I was sinking back into the fantasy. I was convinced he was lying to me about everything. Crazy or not, the Andersons made more sense.
Tom, you got any booze on you?
No. Sorry,
We have a
guys.
stash of the special stuff at the farm. Our own formula, local ingredients, medicine. Clears your head right up. Makes you remember like moonbeams on the brain.
Oh, I just noticed! Leather patches on the elbows? That's not very rock and roll.
Tom just lost is all. Baba Yaga got to him too, the damn witch.
She used us all. Taken from all of us. Took my thunder, the witch.
And my ravens, what were they? Memory and thought, the hag.
She took something from you too, didn't she? That's what she does.
We're better off. This place, the lake, it gives you power. If you're a creator, an artist, a god.
Nightmare shifted in their sleep in the darkness of the lake.
Yeah, that's the one. She makes sure it comes out twisted and wrong. Just ask the lamp lady. She knows what happened to that other rider.
She's been using you, boy, and you let her. You went and opened the door for her, didn't you?
Now, it was already open a crack. And whose fault is that? We're morally corrupt, disease-ridden, old and stupid.
Doesn't mean he had to open it all the way, goddammit.
So tired. Built the farm close to the lake, a place of power.
We had parties there, man. You should go there and have a party.
That Bob Balder threw the app through the window. Hit that hippie chick in the back of the head. 15 stitches and a concussion. Bob's dead now. Leukemia.
Stitches, snitches, and narcs, man. Bad scene.
I'm tired, man. So tired.
I want to go home.
The game doesn't force you to stay here, by the way. If you want to hear all that dialogue, you have to just stay near them. If you don't, you'll lose it. That's why I was staying there for this playthrough. But yeah, the first time I played this game, I basically just went after Hartman leaves and tells Alan to go back to his room. In my first playthrough, I just turned around and walked off. But in one of my other playthroughs after that, I decided to stay back and listen and got that whole dialogue there. Hey there, Lucinda. Good morning to you. Welcome on in. I hope things are going well today. Alan Wake is going good. We're in episode 4. We're at the start of the episode still, but that was an hour ago when I started the stream at the start of this episode. So being very thorough, just testing for dialogue and stuff. But it's been going well. Thanks for redeeming that Harbinger, the manuscript reading. Oh, and the Bane impression as well.
Ah, the unanswered mystery is what stays with us the longest. And it's what we'll remember in the end.
Alright, so I'll choose a random manuscript. We'll have to hear the dialogue read by Alan first, of course. But once that's actually finished, then I'll do the impression reading the stuff from it. Here we go. I'll do the title page in the manuscript. Just kidding. I'm not going to choose that one. That's the that one hardly has anything in it. It's just basically Alan saying the name of the story that he's writing.
Barry took another sip of the heavenly coffee. He grinned at Rose. Surely this was love. Rose gushed on breathlessly. The new one will be a masterpiece, I know it. You must tell him not to listen to the trolls in the forums saying Departure will never get finished. He should take his time and make it perfect. I can wait.
Barry took another sip of the heavenly coffee. He grinned at Rose. Surely this was love. Rose gushed on breathlessly. The new one will be a masterpiece, I know it. You must tell him not to listen to the trolls in the forum saying Departure will never get finished. He should take his time and make it perfect. I can wait. There we go. Thanks for redeeming that, Harbinger. Hey there, Godfather Owl. Thank you so much for the welcome back. Hey Afro, damn, what happened to Big Boss? I don't know. He had a run-in with Thor. Just went crazy. Listen, the place of power. Insert girl emote. It's a place of power. Gotta be. You just noticed the Arnie Wake impression. Redemption. Yeah, I thought I'd add that because originally the redemption was to just have Alan read a random page. That was in my other playthrough, but that's because I wasn't worried about covering all the manuscripts, so I made that the thing. But then when I was doing this playthrough, I thought I could actually change that into a different kind of manuscript redemption, and then I was like, oh, I'll bring back doing something in a game, because I used to have the Aussie, the thick Aussie accent impression as well, and then I had some other thing where I think it was the Gollum or the Arnold thing where I would read something that someone wanted me to read, as in the text box when they redeemed it. So I thought I'll bring that kind of thing back, but do it with the manuscript page. Oh, there's we were given the manuscript in the cutscene. Thomas Zane's writing an assistant. This is the one that we just got. You get it automatically in the cutscene that happened.
Zane could feel the poems, taking form, shaping things. As he experimented, he imagined he could almost feel the power surging through the keys of the typewriter. It exhilarated him. But there was fear, too. If not for his young assistant Emil, he would have given it up. But Emil convinced him otherwise. He, too, had a way with words.
Odin and Tor are playing, of course, the Night Springs board game based on the Night Springs episode. It's so funny. In a way, it looks like a Pac-Man board.
They're only in your head, and they're not there when you wake up.
I'll do that, Birch.
Alright, so I need to restart the checkpoint because waiting for the dialogue to play out with the Anderson brothers has, I think, made the dialogue between Birch, the bodyguard, security guard, and the nurse actually happen a bit before we get to it. So I'm going to have to restart the checkpoint a few times to cover the different characters' dialogues.
My head was clearing up, or according to Hartman, I was sinking back into the fantasy. I was convinced he was lying to me about everything. Crazy or not, the Andersons made more sense.
Later on, Birch. This
storm's bound to make you-know-who jumpy. You know how they get.
Gotcha. The doc's got me looking after Wake here, but holler if they get too rowdy.
I'll do that, Birch.
My head was clearing up, or according to Hartman, I was sinking back into the fantasy. I was convinced he was lying to me about everything. Crazy or not, the Andersons made more sense.
Yeah, good thing he's not overreacting or anything.
Well, he's the boss.
I may need a hand here later on, Birch. The storm's bound to make you-know-who jumpy. You know how they get.
Gotcha. The doc's got me looking after Wake here, but holler if they get too rowdy.
Alright, so interesting. That dialogue from Alan.
My head was clearing
Alright,
up,
need to get to
or
them
according
as
to
quick as
Hartman,
possible.
I was
Can't
sinking
run.
back
At least I
into
can
the
now.
fantasy. I was convinced he was lying to me about everything.
Yeah, good thing
Crazy
he's
or not,
overreacting
the
or
Andersons
anything.
made more sense.
Well, he's the boss.
Alright, so what she says to start with is not in response to something that we can hear him say.
My head was clearing up, or according to Hartman, I was sinking back into the fantasy. I was convinced he was lying to me about everything. Crazy or not, the Andersons made more sense.
Bad dream, and you can't wake up. You can't hurt a nightmare because all dreams are only imagination. They're only in your head, and they're not there when you wake up. So you can't wake up because I'm in charge now, and I don't want to disappear. My nightmare is the publisher people who want to make a contribution so they can say they made a contribution. And then we end up with mullets in there because they think mullets are funny, but it wasn't supposed to be about mullets, and now it's about mullets. And when it's in slow motion, they call it mullet time because the numbers came back from marketing that mullet time is the hook we needed to go big in the target demographic. And they're not even kidding. They say it all like serial killers with straight faces and smiles. My nightmare is the writers who want to make everything from the characters to the toasters talk all the time and express their feelings so they won't shut up. And the writers won't shut up either because they have feelings too. And I have to listen to them because they're not scared of me. And everyone should just shut up. Shut up. Shut up. But I don't see nightmares anymore because I'm too scary for them. I take 2 pills every morning and 1 with every meal and 4 when I go to bed. And that makes me the scariest nightmare of all.
Mullet time. But it wasn't supposed to be about mullets. I wonder then what Max Payne would have been called in Emerson's mind as a replacement for Max Payne. Mullet perm? I don't know. We need mullet time in our mullet perm game. Hey there, Busted Bunny. What a nut job. That's Emerson, alright. That's what happens when you make video games. He's a video game maker. Hey there, Code. Good afternoon to you. I hope it's going well. Okay, so this guy has no new dialogue. If you've already spoken to him before the cutscene in there with the Anderson brothers, and then you come back out later, he won't have any more dialogue. So it's a situation where you can either speak to him before you go into that part where the Anderson brothers are, or after. But yeah, he has no new dialogue. Okay, so I've got to restart the checkpoint again because Birch and the nurse, I think there's something that they might say to Alan, although are they still where they were? Because if they are, I won't have to worry. Yeah, so they're still standing where they are, so if I go over near them, the dialogue that Birch says should still happen. I thought that maybe he'd change position or something.
Tom, you got any booze on you?
Yeah, no. Sorry,
We have a
guys.
stash of the special
Ah, damn, I
stuff
forgot,
at the
because I restarted the
farm.
checkpoint. I
Our own
didn't stay to...
formula,
Because I was going back in here to see if there was any other dialogue once they're
medicine, tears
tired.
your head right up. Makes you
So I'll just
remember
have
like
this happen again.
moonbeams on the brain.
But there's something in the story that you read about in a manuscript
Patches on the elbows?
that the
That's
brothers
not
actually
very
mention
rock
here,
and
which is
roll.
important,
Tom just
about
lost is all. Baba Yaga
Alan
got
leaving
to
the,
him too, the damn
about them
witch.
leaving the
She
door
used
open
us
a crack,
all. Taken
metaphorically,
from all
for
of
the
us.
dark presence to be able
Took by
to
thunder, the witch.
influence things.
And my ravens, what were they? Memory and thought, the hag.
She took something from you too, didn't she? That's what she does.
We're better off. This place, the lake, it gives you power. If you're a creator, an artist, a god.
Nightmare shifted in their sleep in the darkness of the lake.
Yeah, that's the one. She makes sure it comes out twisted and wrong. Just ask the lamp lady. She knows what happened to that other writer.
She's been using you, boy, and you let her. You went and opened the door for her, didn't you?
Now, it was already open a crack. And whose fault is that?
And whose fault is that? Okay, so it was them. I'll see if I can find the actual manuscript page that relates to that dialogue.
For decades, the darkness that wore Barbara Jagger's skin slept fitfully in the dark place that was its home and prison. It was hungry and in pain. It dreamed of its nights of glory when the poet's writing had called it from the depths and given it a brief, terrible taste of power and freedom. The rock stars had stirred it from the deep sleep the poet had sunk it back to in the end. When it sensed the writer on the ferry, it opened its eyes.
There we go. So the Anderson brothers were the ones that stirred the dark presence from the deep sleep that Thomas Zane, the poet, had put it into. And when they say Alan opened the door wide, and then Odin is like, you know, it was left open a little bit, and whose fault is that? And it was their fault. So this is the manuscript page that relates back to that dialogue. And of course the writer that it's referencing is Alan himself.
We're morally corrupt, disease-ridden, old and stupid.
Doesn't mean he had to open it all the way, goddammit.
So
Alright, so this is where they get tired.
Built the farm close to the lake, a place of power.
We had parties there, man. You should go there and have a party.
Oh yeah. We definitely will when we get to that part of the game.
Through the window.
Fat Bob Boulder.
A hippie chick in the back of the head. 15
Of course,
stitches
Odin and Thor naming themselves based after Odin and Thor, and Balder being the son of Odin, who got killed because mistletoe was thrown at him. Well, a spear with mistletoe on it was thrown at him by Loki pretending to be... Well, sorry, by Balder. No, by some... What's his name? Lod? No, not Lod. I'm getting things fucking mixed up. But anyway, that dialogue there about Balder throwing something at someone is ironic, given the fact that Balder in Norse mythology had something thrown at him instead. That's okay, Grace. Absolutely no trouble at all. Definitely understandable. I hope that work goes well. And good to see you in chat again. Thanks for stopping in. Enjoy the chaos. I definitely will. There's a lot of chaos that happens in this episode. That's for sure. Now that I've re-triggered that dialogue, I just want to go and move around and see if there's any new dialogue that triggers with them. Nope, guess not. Hey, Brutus. Welcome. How's things going?
Hey, Wake, why don't you humor Dr. Hartman and give the writing a shot, huh? Typewriter's in your room. You can get to your room by those stairs, Wake.
You going good, Brutus? That's excellent to hear. That's awesome. And I'm doing well myself, also, having a good week so far. I'm not getting coffee thermoses in this playthrough, leaving it for a future playthrough. Although I've accidentally collected one in this playthrough and the other one that I did at the start of this month, unfortunately. So there's two that I've already collected ahead of the future playthrough where I want to get them all. I just wanted to get them all one after the other and in order using a guide. But now I'm going to have to make sure...
Hartman wanted me to write. I knew I couldn't, but I figured I should just play along for now. It was the only thing I could do with Nurse Birch watching me like a hawk.
Alright, need to see if I was actually talking over that when that dialogue started. Nope, that worked out well. I had a look, and just as I paused after saying the last word that I said, the dialogue for Alan started, so that's good. The thing about my stream is that when I say something, there's a delay for when it actually happens audio-wise. So I've noticed that in the past where a character will stop talking when I start talking, but a character will start talking after I've stopped talking, but then because of the delay on stream, sometimes my voice ends up slightly going over the dialogue because of the delay. So luckily in that spot it didn't happen.
The doors were locked. Hartman and the nurses would have keys, but there was no way to get my hands on them. Something's wrong. I'm not myself. It's hard to think that there's a shadow inside my head. I can only focus on writing. Everything else is a blur. I'm trapped in this cabin. Have been for days, but it's always dark outside. My editor is real. I saw her again. She's not human. It's not human. A dark presence is wearing the old woman's face. She was covered in clinging shadows. There's a hole in her chest where her heart should be. I think I've made a horrible mistake. I don't think I'm any closer to saving Alice. It's been lying to me, using me to get the story it wants, and the story will come true.
Emerson being a game designer. Maybe he's just double checking that the cover system that he's designed is actually going to be working. Alright, here's Emerson's room. This poster, Death Rally, that's the first game that Remedy Entertainment made. There's also a reference to Death Rally made by Barry in the extra episode DLC, where there's like a illusion version of Barry. It's the part where these like these vehicles get possessed and come to life in this field. There's the Night Springs video game. Originally, this was only exclusive to Xbox 360 and PC. The 2010 release, that is. But once they got to the point where the full rights to Alan Wake went back to Remedy, it meant they were able to do this PS5 and PS4 version for the remaster. So they had to change, of course, the console to look different, and also the cover of the game to look different as well, so it doesn't look like an Xbox 360 case. Then, of course, you got a poster for the Night Springs video game as well, with Remedy's logo and stuff there. So that confirms that Remedy is actually a video game company that exists in the universe of Alan Wake. And then you have this board here where Emerson has done some like designs for certain things like a map, weather, also like enemies and all that type of stuff. And this is the painter's room. But his paintings that he's done in recent times have all been kept in Hartman's office. Well, not really his office, sorry, the room opposite to his office. I'm surprised Birch doesn't say anything else if you take this long. Like, Wake, get to your room.
The white glare of the blank page in front of me hurt my eyes. My hands began to shake uncontrollably.
Everybody calm down. Put that down. Bert, I need help.
Hey, Wake, you stay here. I'm gonna go see what's up. You just keep doing what you're doing. Be cool, okay?
I didn't know what the chaos was all about, but it could be my only chance of getting out of here.
Where the hell did he get a damn hammer?
I don't know.
Here's a friendly poke from Mjolnir. Oh, afraid of the crazy brothers, are ya? Not so weak now, are we? Well, things are unraveling fast, aren't they?
It's my storm. I'm taking it. We're on a comeback tour, baby. Hammer's way will have it say, rise up in their name.
Alright, this is going to be tricky to get all the dialogue. I'm going to have to do multiple restarts of checkpoints to get different kinds of ones and stuff. Even though you can hear what Odin and Tor are saying, I'd rather actually have it closer to where they are and all that kind of stuff. And also check to see if there's any dialogue that is missed if you aren't quick enough to get close enough. That's cool. I pushed this chair into this corner here at the start of the episode, and it still stayed there after everything that's happened. That's cool.
But it could be my only chance of getting out of here.
Where the hell did he get a damn hammer?
I don't know.
Here's a friendly poke from Mjolnir, wench.
Oh,
Sinclair looked
afraid of the
bad.
crazy
That wasn't a love
brothers,
tap.
are ya?
The
Not
crazy
so
old
weak
fart hit her
now.
hard. But it could be my only chance of getting out of here.
Where the hell did he get a damn hammer?
I don't know.
Here's a friendly poke from Mjolnir, wench.
Oh, afraid of the crazy brothers, are ya? Not so weak now, are we? Well, things are unraveling fast, aren't they?
It's my storm. I'm taking it. We're on a comeback tour, baby. Hammer's way will have it say, rise up in their name.
Sinclair looked bad. That wasn't a love tap. The crazy old fart hit her hard. And if she was one of Hartman's goons, she had it coming. I could get the key to the office wing from Sinclair.
The backstage is all yours, Tom. Seize your destiny. Come out and face the music, Birch. It's time to pay the piper.
Maybe you could come out and beat our wrinkled, adult diapered asses for us, since you're so tough, Birch.
We were on the road, man! You think we haven't seen punks like you before? Mortal knave! Yeah, you better hide, Birch. My wrath will break you.
He's probably kidding, Birch. He's got a great sense of humor. Just ask Sinclair. Oh.
Children of the Elder God, scorn your light upon the dark.
Wow, wow, wow! I wish I had my axe.
Oh, memory and thought, jet black and clawed.
I'll be getting the manuscript page soon. I just want to make sure that I've interacted with everything that can cause dialogue without creating a new checkpoint, so that if I need to, I can reload the checkpoint.
Hartman kept talking, giving Barry the grand tour, clearly proud of the place. He went on and on about his hunting trophies, and Barry was impressed. But he was here on business. He raised his voice, cut through the monologue. "Hey, Hartman, where's Al?" Hartman stopped in mid-sentence, annoyed at the interruption. He nodded at the hulking orderly standing nearby. The man smiled and clapped a practiced hand on Barry's shoulder. I had to get to Hartman's office. He had taken all my manuscript pages. That's where he'd been keeping them.
Alright, so coming up, there's going to be some dialogue that Barry will be saying. What I'm going to do is head towards him first and wait until all the dialogue's played out. Then I'm going to go back into the room where I want to go to play the recordings that are in that room as well. That'll be the best way to make sure that I'm getting Barry's dialogue on its own, separate to the dialogue that we hear in the recordings.
The photo on the wall caught my attention. In it, the clinic staff was standing outside the lodge. I knew the man next to Hartman. He was the kidnapper. Hartman had been playing me all along.
Let me out of here! Hartman, do you hear me? I'm gonna sew your crazy quack ass to shreds! Seriously, do you have any idea how much trouble you're in? I'm famous. I represent a celebrity. They'll be looking for me. Oh, that's how you want to play it? Is that how you want to play it? Really? Okay, that's how we'll play it. It'll be hardball all the way, jerk. Seriously, man, I'm willing to forget the whole thing if you let me out now. Just let me out! Hey, you think I can't hear you out there? I hear you just fine. What, is this how you get your kicks, Hartman? I knew you were weird. You got that weird guy look. If you're one of those nurses, I'll double what he's paying you, okay? Do you have any idea how much I make as an agent of a best-selling writer? A lot. Is a personal check good?
I love Barry's tirade there. If you interact with the door straight away, you don't hear it.
The markings on the tape said they were recordings Hartman had made at the sessions with his patients. I saw Alice's name on one of them. For a moment, I couldn't breathe right.
Now, Mrs. Wake, can you tell me about Alan's problems?
He's more and more out of control all the time. The parties, he's so angry all the time. He's getting violent.
Do you mean with you?
No, not with me. No, never. Sometimes I almost wish Alan would take a swing at me, because at least that lead to a conversation he couldn't just march out of. But no. Alan doesn't really sleep. And the work, well, he's not writing at all. He sits there for hours and just gets more and more frustrated. And I can't talk to him.
Yes. Tell me, Mrs. Wake. What would you say to him if he'd listen?
I don't know. I want to say, I look at you, and it's not you. Just some stranger.
ever say this.
No. I've tried, but he's not listening. He's too deep in his own problems, always going on about something else. I'm so afraid I'm gonna lose him, and we're not even talking anymore. He doesn't let me in anymore. He just keeps me in the dark. I'm so alone here, even when he's home. Please help me, Doctor, because I'm at my wit's end.
Well, if you can just get him here, I'll absolutely do my very best.
Yeah, but Doctor, you need to be careful with him. He's not just going to listen to you and cooperate. He's the most stubborn man I've ever met.
Well, I'll be sure to bear that in mind.
Hearing her voice, what she was saying made me happy and sick and guilty all at once. Worst of all, I recognized the words. The phone call from her. It had been a cut-up of this. Just a recording.
Rudolph Lane's case is interesting. He was completely blocked, and frankly, I was about to discard him as useless. However, once Wake arrived and started writing, something changed in Rudolph. He's producing extraordinary work, increasingly dark pieces. Unfortunately, he doesn't respond to direction at all, and it's my belief that he's not so much a creator as an illustrator, perhaps, a recorder of sorts. I hadn't considered the existence of such a role before, let alone its implications, but the paintings he has produced are informative. At least he's easily controlled and useful. I wish I could say the same about Wake. It's frustrating that the best subjects are always so damn difficult to deal with.
These are all the paintings that Rudolph Lane has done. The dude that we spoke to earlier, who said to Alan, "I've painted you." These here are actually enemies in the game. Obviously, Rudolph Lane drawing them is not a coincidence, but these designs, I think, from memory, were the actual designs that they used in concept for the enemies in Alan Wake.
Hartman wasn't happy. Mott could see it in his eyes. He quickly lowered his own. He had made a mess of it, and he knew it. The shame of failure was hard to bear. He hadn't expected Wake to say he needed more time, and he blurted out 2 days, less than Wake had asked for, to show him who was in charge. But that wasn't part of Hartman's plan.
Not buying that. I was tailing Wheeler, and this is the only place he could have gone. That means Wake is probably there too.
Agent Nightingale, this is private property, and I will not allow you to disturb my patients.
Yeah? I can get a warrant. How are your fragile little patients like that?
Oh, I'm thoroughly intimidated by your mighty authority now, Agent.
Listen, you smug snob. How would you like it if I busted through this gate and knocked you around a little?
Agent Nightingale, first of all, I'm recording this conversation, so you might want to watch what you say. Secondly, you're not dealing with a hick now. I know the law, and if you can get a judge to grant a warrant, I'll be glad to cooperate. But you won't get one. Be advised that any further communications with me are to be made through my lawyer.
I don't believe this.
Good day, Agent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Agent Nightingale is after Alan because he read a page from the manuscript in which it describes his death. So he's like, this Alan Wake, he wants to kill me off. And so that's why he's after Alan. Not realizing by the very act of him actively wanting to pursue Alan over perceived death threat is actually what is needed to get him there, to be killed, as written in the page that Alan wrote. Alright, I'm going to do one more check for dialogue interacting with other things, and then we'll actually open the lock for Barry, who has been very, very patient and calm after his tirade, waiting in that room.
Barry?
Ow! About time!
Barry! Man, am I glad to see you. We need to get to Hartman's office.
It's right next door.
You okay?
Yeah. I mean, no! The cops found me at Rose's trailer, but they didn't hassle me too much. I'm obviously a victim in this, and I demanded to be treated as such. Or else I'd sue their asses. Speaking of asses, that Fed gave me a real hard time, but I had no clue where you were. That guy's crazy, Al. But he let me go, and then I get a call from Hartman, that son of a bitch, who tells me you're here, and I should come pick you up, but when I got here, 2 goons clobbered me and stuck me in there.
What's with the cutout?
I stole it from the diner to piss off Rose after what she did to us. That'll teach her.
Yeah, that's a harsh punishment. Come on, pal, we gotta get going. There was no time to waste. I had to go to Hartman's office, get the missing pages, and get out. These were all the pages I had on me. And more.
Alan, please. You're sliding back into the...
Tell me one more lie and I'll shoot you in the face.
Ah, well, it was worth a shot. Really, Wake, come on. Let's work together on this. You have no idea...
Hartman, shut up! Barry, get out of here. I'll catch up with you. Get a car.
Oh, Al, let's just...
Go!
Wake, listen to me. This is a mistake. Don't you see? Together we can create something absolutely wonderful. With your ability and mine.
presence would be on me in a moment. I had to find a way out. Hartman followed the fall of Alan Wake with his binoculars. When the rider hit the water, he ordered Jack to take the boat to him. The spot was easy to see in the dark, even with all the extra lights in the boat. The flare floated and kept burning even in the water. Jack turned the radio louder as the engine sputtered. The music was rough and clanking, something the Anderson brothers would no doubt have enjoyed. But Hartman chose to ignore it. Wake was finally within his reach.
In episode 3, there's a manuscript page that we find which actually talks about that scene we just saw where Hartman gets killed and Alan has that smile on his face.
I slammed the door shut right in his smug face. He pleaded for me to open the door. True to form, the asshole actually thought I would obey. I had no sympathy left, no guilt either, not for him. I took a moment to savor the scream. I bet I had a smile on my face. It was all that I had time for. The dark presence was inside the lodge with me. Hartman knew he was no creator. He had no ambitions on that front. And he certainly didn't want to end up like every artist he had worked with here, damaged in ways that were hard to describe, or worse. It was enough for Hartman to maintain creative control and provide direction, to be a producer. That was what most of these people were in need of anyway. Of course, suitable subjects were few and far in between.
Alright, so this television that is in front of Alan, in the original 2010 version of the game, there was actually 2 back-to-back commercials that would play on the TV of real things. And so in this remaster, what they've done is they've replaced those 2 commercials with 2 back-to-back Night Springs episodes that were originally cut out of the 2010 release. So it was really cool that they did that, instead of just trying to find another real product to put in there or just have the TV not turn on anymore. It was cool that they decided to put back 2 Night Springs episodes that were cut out of the original game. And so we're going to listen to that. In the past, though, the actual audio volume for those has been very low for some reason on this particular one. So I'm going to go into audio settings and make sure that the effects are turned down low, because the effects from the Dark Presence doing its thing will be coming through as well. Alright, the music might be too loud for that as well. Alright, so I think the music in the actual Night Springs episode should still play, but if it doesn't, I can always reload the checkpoint. Yep, so we're still going to need music. And effects as well, I think, maybe. Unless the sound effects for it are tied to the unless the music and everything to it is signed to the sound effect audio. I think it is, actually. Let's turn the music off just to test it.
Consider. You get in a car.
Alright, so the music in the Night Springs episode is actually tied to the effects volume, not the music volume. Alright, so now that I know that, we'll keep the music volume low so the actual music in the gameplay doesn't interfere with the music from the Night Springs episode, and leave the effects as they are. Alright, so I'll reload the checkpoint so we can actually listen to that from the start.
Most of us have felt its shadow on us. A shiver down your back. A glimpse from the corner of the eye. You can't find it on purpose. But take a wrong turn, board the wrong bus, wonder where you are when you wake up, and you will find yourself in the small town of Night Springs. Tonight's episode, The Doomed Samaritan. Sometimes, even the simplest things prove impossible. Consider, you get in a car and leave a life behind. Easy? Not tonight.
Thanks for the ride, Mark. I'm so glad to be leaving this place. You have no idea.
What, Night Springs? Come on, Linda. Relax. It's not that bad. Hey, what's that up ahead?
Oh, God. There's someone in the road. I think there's been an accident. Are you all right?
Oh no, Linda! Oh no! It was me on the road! Wait! Tell him to watch out for the truck! Watch out for the truck!
My God, Mark?
Oh, no, please! God, no! Linda! Linda!
Thanks for the ride, Mark. I'm so glad to be leaving this place.
What, Night Springs? Come on, Linda. Relax. It's not that bad. Hey, what's that up ahead?
Oh, God. There's someone in the road. I think there's been an accident. Are you all right?
Oh no, Linda! Oh no! It was me on the road! Wait! Tell him to watch out for the truck! Watch out for the truck!
My God, Mark?
And there you have it. A vicious cycle, brutally punctuated by the blast of an air horn and screaming metal. Many roads are dangerous, but none more so than the one that leads away from Night Springs. Magic, parlor tricks, smoke and mirrors. But for some, magic is more than that. It's a way of working the secret machinery of reality itself. And more than one member of that Eldritch Brotherhood can be found in Night Springs. Tonight's episode, What's in a Name? We find an old man standing on an old, rusting, derelict bridge, leaning his bony frame against the cold steel. And though he looks idle, he is hard at work. His young apprentice attends to him, as good apprentices do.
Yes. Coming along nicely. Don't you think, boy?
Yes, Magus.
Sir, we've been getting some complaints. Are you defacing the bridge?
Oh. No, I wouldn't do that.
Sir, I can see the screwdriver in your hand and the scratches on the steel beams. You've been spotted doing this all over town.
Yes. I have been very busy, but I'm no vandal, officer.
Exactly what are you up to, sir?
He's writing his name on the town.
The youngster is correct. I'm writing my name, my whole name, the entire and complete description of my soul on the town. I'm almost done.
Yeah? Well, all I see is an old man tagging public property.
Oh, I should bow down to the wisdom of your years? Words have power, young man. Names and titles especially.
Uh-huh. And, what's your name supposed to be?
Tell him, boy. Tell him while I finish the carving.
Officer, it's...
Say my name, boy. Say it.
It's Night Springs, officer.
But isn't that... That's the name of the town, isn't it?
Yes, it is from now on.
Wait, where'd he go? Hey, where is he?
Oh, officer. You know where he is, and what he is, don't you? I think you should get in your car and drive away, and remember which town you're serving.
Your will be done, Magus.
Ah, yes. There are too many little towns to count, all of them with some little magic of their own. But some towns have more personality than others, and none more so than Night Springs.
And there we have it. They're the two Night Springs episodes that weren't in the original 2010 release on this television. They weren't even in it at all. Unless there was some kind of like code you had to put in or something. But I'm not too sure of that. All I know is that I was never able to see those in the Xbox 360 version. I had to go on YouTube and actually see them because I was looking up all the Night Springs episodes one time and saw that there were two that I didn't see in the game. And I was like, oh, cool. For the remaster, they've put them both back into the game on this television screen. And I'm surprised that they didn't actually add subtitles for that, because all the other Night Springs episodes in the game actually have subtitles, and the audio of them is optimized internally from the television itself, seemingly. But for that particular one, I had to go into the audio options and turn the in-game music down, because the volume of the actual Night Springs episode is pretty low if you have music playing over the top. So I'll put the music back to what it was. There we go. Hey there, Hypnotic. Welcome. This would be a wild live action movie if they would stick strictly to the story. Yeah, they're actually doing a live action series. It was announced a couple of years ago, and AMC is actually the one that picked up the rights to do it. So there is something live action in development based on Alan Wake. So potentially we could see a lot of stuff from this game's story featured, but just from a different perspective than what we see it in the game from. And I'm hoping that one of the episodes that they do will actually be a full Night Springs episode. And what would be really cool is if the Night Springs episode that they actually show was originally part of a feature-length Night Springs movie that Alan had actually written, but they ultimately decided to split it up into another season of Night Springs. And so in the live-action Alan Wake, in my idea for it, you would have the Night Springs episodes actually be building up towards an end by the end of the actual Alan Wake series, so that there'd be two storylines running concurrently. You'd have the storyline within the Night Springs episodes that was originally a feature-length script written by Alan to be a movie, but split up into episodes and turned into another season, and do something like that. But I hope at least they do have one episode that is a full Night Springs episode for that particular episode in the series. But yeah, there's so much stuff, like so much things related to Bright Falls itself, Cauldron Lake itself, the actual water, the magic of the lake, the earthquakes, the volcanic eruption that happened in the 1970s, things with Thomas Zane and Barbara and Cynthia, and just so much stuff. Like you could even have an episode that is about Doc Nelson when he's younger, and maybe having some sort of like surreal experience in Bright Falls and stuff. And then maybe you see the formation of the kind of like, because Barry sort of jokes later that is there some kind of secret society that you've created, because they know that there's some weird stuff that goes on in Bright Falls. So I think it would be cool to have an episode of the live action Alan Wake series that covers the 1970s, so we can see characters like Tom, Barbara, and Cynthia, and Doc Nelson, and even Sarah's father, and so much stuff. There's so many different ways that they could slice doing a live action series. But yeah, I'm definitely curious to see what they're going to come up with and how it's going to be structured. I'm not expecting an Alan Wake series where he's in every single episode, which I don't necessarily mind, as long as we do kind of like see him maybe in backgrounds, or maybe we see something that is referenced in this game that we didn't actually see in the game, but we actually see it in the Alan Wake thing. Like there might be some, like we might be able to see the party that he goes to with Barry that he stays out there too long at, and all that kind of stuff. There really is, Tylian, yeah, when you have a look at it. Like the world that they created with this game alone, then you now consider Control, which is part of the same universe, and all the stuff that's been made for that. And they could even, if that live action Alan Wake series is successful, they could even do a spin-off of a Control series, and that'd be a good way to do like crossover stuff and things like that. Like have, an episode where Jesse is investigating something that is happening in Bright Falls, and you have like Alan turning up somehow. Like I don't know how you would write it, but just things like that, just spitballing, coming up with brainstorming stuff. But in any case, it'll be interesting to see what they come up with for the Alan Wake live action.
Hey, come on! We gotta get going! Al, I'm over here!
Alright, that seems to be all that Barry has to say, because Alan's not moving. Carlin, 100%. Yeah, so I don't know the ETA of when that series will actually be released, but be interesting to see what they do. Hypnotic, maybe sometimes be like Rod Serling, have him introduce the episodes he's not in, like having him sitting at his typewriter. That's a good idea, actually. Yeah, I think that'd be really cool if they did that. Have him be the one that introduces the episode as well at some points. Never thought you'd see a horror games lead get chased by a hamster ball. That's the thing about Alan Wake's universe. Anything can happen. A tennis ball could turn into a pizza and go around flying around killing people. whatever Alan writes to become a reality. Not collecting the thermoses. Suspended. Lauren Miller, 1989. It's funny. That always reminds me of the former in Control. Alright, so in episode 4, according to the guide I'm looking at, there's only one more sign in episode 4.
I found the car, but the gate's locked. You're gonna have to go through the hedge maze over there.
Barry, I don't have a light.
Take this, Al.
Alright, no dialogue if you don't take the flashlight straight away. Or if you go and try and go through where you need to go to get to the hedge maze.
Oh, God! Look at the house, Al! Look out! much of a maze? I made it through easy.
Cool. I've never done that before. Never dealt with those and then heard that dialogue from Barry. Normally I just go into the maze. Hypnotic? Well, of course there would be a hedge maze waiting for the obligatory sewer level. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, the majority of horror games end up having a sewer level of some kind.
Oh, jeez, Al! The house looks bad! Let's get out of here!
I stared at the Viking paraphernalia that littered the area, surrounding an unlikely centerpiece. A full-size stage complete with an impressive sound system with all the trimmings, including a dragon. It took a special kind of crazy to build something like this in a remote field. When the sky split open with a deafening boom and the music started blasting, it felt strangely appropriate.
Hypnotic, you just checked this, and you just checked, and this game is on sale for $10 on the PlayStation Store until the 26th. Definitely getting it. Oh, nice. That's cool. That's excellent price. Especially if you're getting the remaster, because you get the extra episodes, the DLC that was released for the original, already bundled, and you get the original commentary that was done for the 2010 release on PC, and also the new commentary that they did for this remaster as well.
Hartman hurried down the corridor. He had disliked leaving Wake when he was surely at his most susceptible to therapy. But this was not an ordinary storm. Wake had been writing, and he had woken something up in the depths of the lake. Now, it was coming for him. Hartman had naturally prepared for a situation like this. The idiot brothers would keep Wake distracted while Hartman double-checked everything, just to be sure.
Excellent, Hypnotic, that it's the remaster version. Cool. Yeah, the original release was only Xbox 360 and PC, but Remedy were able to get back the full rights to Alan Wake from Microsoft, so that meant that they could do it for the PlayStation as well. Hey there, Kenway. Welcome on in. Kenway? How's things? Alright, no dialogue if Alan backtracks and try to go through that. Kenway, things are good. Winter is slowly coming. Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that, Kenway. That's cool. And is winter a season that you look forward to, or is it one that you wish would not happen or just go quickly? Hypnotic, you love horror games and exploration games. A bit of a look in every corner type of gamer when there is stuff to collect. Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, this game definitely provides a lot of opportunities like that as well. A lot of areas that you can explore every nook and cranny of. And you never know, sometimes you might find something, or you might hear a conversation or something like that that you'd never, that you wouldn't otherwise. Kenway, you like winter more because you can mitigate cold, but you can't mitigate heat. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm 100% with you there. I definitely prefer when it's colder. My favourite line from Birch as a Taken is coming up. You take 2 pills in the morning and then you'll wake up nice and calm. Is kind of like how he says it because he's taken by this point. Just want to double check something though, since we've gotten that checkpoint. Alright, so Alan still doesn't say anything if you backtrack to the start of the maze. Hey there, Drake. How's things? Hypnotic, you can see you getting lost in this maze, lol, as you have a bad sense of direction. I definitely know what that's like, for sure. Especially if there's something, like for example, in Shadow of the Tomb Raider, if you're swimming underwater and you get attacked by a eel, the camera, due to the nature of the little scene that happens when you get caught by the eel and you have to do the QTE to get rid of it, by the very nature of it, it's very chaotic, and so it's very easy for you to get disoriented as to which way you're actually heading before you're attacked by the eel, to try and figure stuff out like that. So I definitely know what that kind of thing is like, and some games have something that just looks the same in multiple areas that can also throw you off as well. Drake, you went from playing Red Dead Redemption 2 to Red Dead Depression 2, and yes, you cried like a man. Well, we're all human, and we all have the capability to cry, so it's definitely understandable, especially given Red Dead Redemption 2 and how the story goes, to have that reaction.
get 2 pills in the morning, and then you'll be nice and calm all day long. You get 3 pills in the evening. And then Dr. Hartman likes things to be nice. That way we don't have any trouble. And I don't stop struggling. This is just part of the fervor.
Well then, wanted to try and get as much dialogue as possible, so I'm glad that I got through that and covered that dialogue from Birch, and also wanted to see if there's any dialogue after getting rid of him. Because you don't have to if you don't want to, you can keep on going and then eventually get past the part where he is. Drake, back when playing Red Dead Redemption 1, you felt so sad after what happened. Imagine that voice as Macho Man Randy Savage. The cream of the crop! That's understandable too as well, after playing Red Dead Redemption 1, given how that ends especially. Hypnotic, all he needed was a dig it at the end. That's all he needed. Yeah, that Birch Taken dialogue is my favourite. Taken dialogue. About the 2 pills in the morning and then you'll be calm all day long. Okay, so the dodge mechanic didn't actually work there. It's supposed to go in slow motion.
Mott knew that Wake was smarter than him. Wake had more money, a beautiful wife, everything. And Hartman said Wake was important. That made him better than Mott. But Mott was calling the shots now. He'd expected Wake to whimper and grovel, but instead, he seemed willing to fight. Mott knew he'd gotten under Wake's skin. If only Mott actually had his wife. The thought made him shiver.
Brutus, please tell me that wasn't your Randy Savage impression. Now, I was trying to do an impression of him being overtaken by a Taken, because when the Taken speak, they go, "You take 2 pills in the morning, and then you'll be nice and calm." That kind of variation. Yeah, Brutus. But yeah, I've heard him speak and stuff. But yeah, there's a certain gravelly kind of aspect to his voice that I can't do. And if I sometimes it's not that I can't do that kind of voice, as in like a grizzly one. It's just that trying to do that and imitate how someone else does it is a different story. Like, for example, I can't do Geralt's voice. I can't do Adam Jensen's voice from Deus Ex. I can't do Sam Fisher's voice from Splinter Cell. Because even though their voice is just gruff, the individual actors who play them, without their natural voice as a base, there's no way for me to make my gravelly voice sound like their gravelly voice as those characters. I'm trying to backtrack to the start of the maze just to see again if there's any more dialogue. Fancy that. Usually you're trying to get to the exit of a maze, not get back to the entrance. Although I guess if you were going through a real maze and you wanted to try again at getting to the exit, you would probably want to try and go back to the entrance. Nope. I thought he might say something like, "There's no point in going back to the lake, back to the lodge, Cauldron Lake Lodge." So far, with each stream that I've done of this game, I've been doing 1 episode per stream. Well, I mean, my Tuesday is different because I do a split stream. So in my mind, I'm counting them both as one stream, but yesterday I did the first 2 chapters. In the previous stream today, I did the 3rd chapter. This is the 4th chapter. But I think what I might do is actually call it a stream at a certain point in this chapter. And then tomorrow, when it's Wednesday for me, finish off chapter 4, and then get hopefully 5 and 6 done as well on top. But maybe not. We'll just have to wait and see. As much as I love this game, it is very mentally energy draining to actually be so meticulous and thorough when it comes to actually trying to get dialogue to trigger by backtracking and staying behind and doing all that kind of stuff. But I definitely want to stick doing that for the rest of the main game anyway. The 2 extra episodes that are DLC I won't do as in-depth, but I'll still do more than just the main game, of course, for this whole entire playthrough.
For the moment, Barry was just glad he had survived the fall. He had been separated from Al, and there was no easy way to climb back up. He told himself he'd be okay in the gloomy forest at night. He would just have to wait for a while for Al to find his way down. Barry turned when he heard the heavy footsteps and saw the movement. The man-shaped shadow lunged at him from the bushes, an axe held high. Barry screamed and threw up his hand. The world exploded. Hartman watched as Wake's features slackened. The man was bullheaded, no doubt. Even lying on the bed, he'd almost broken Hartman's nose the second time. But with a little time, he could break Wake down, give him proper direction. Wake was easily the most promising subject he had had. Well, since Tom, really. "Sleep well, Alan," Hartman whispered with a smile. "Let me take care of you." He sniffed hard to clear his throbbing nose, swallowed blood, and barely tasted it.
Alright, this part's going to be tricky. Barry's going to fumble, and he's going to have to find the key, and you have to face off against enemies as he's doing that. What I need to do is, once I've actually gotten to that point, I need to survive long enough for all the dialogue to play out, including any dialogue when Barry actually finds the key and actually opens the thing, and I'm going to not go where he is on purpose to make sure that I can get any dialogue that will still happen, whether it's, just enemy dialogue or whether it's Barry saying, "Come on, Al, you can do it now. I've got the key," kind of thing. Thanks for the good luck, Lucinda. Thank you so very much. Especially on Nightmare mode, the highest difficulty, because it's very easy to get, overwhelmed. But that's why I've been saving my shotgun and I've been saving my flare gun.
Let's get out of here. Can you open this gate?
Maybe.
Barry.
Well, I slammed it shut when the nasty showed up, and the key fits kind of loose in the lock, so,
Barry!
I'll find it! Don't worry about it!
Hurry up, Barry!
I'm on it! I'm on it! Gotta be here! Just hang on, Al! Oh, hey! Found a corner! I found it! I found it! Ah, no, wait, that's a twig. Here it is! Al, I found the key!
Alright, so Alan doesn't say anything if you go all the way back this way and not go to see where Barry is. Alright, so that covers that. We covered a little bit of extra dialogue where Barry is like, "Come on, Al," even after he's found the key and opened the door. Yeah, I love that. Lucinda is like, so excited. I found it. Oh, it's just a twig. Like, of course it is. There's another example in the game coming up where whatever ammo you've actually conserved and all that type of stuff, it doesn't matter because the game takes it off you. That's probably one of the downsides, I would say. If you're someone who really, really likes to save your ammo and supplies and carry it through the game with you, unfortunately this game takes that stuff away off you pretty regularly throughout the game from start to finish.
Tell me we're headed for the nearest "You're now leaving Bright Falls. Come back soon" sign.
We're going to the Anderson farm.
I knew you were gonna say something like that. You know what? You owe me big time for this. When this is through, if we make it, I don't care what anybody says, I'm done with darkness. You're gonna buy me a tanning bed as a gift, and I'm gonna live in it.
I'm crazy, but that's fine, Barry.
Oh, you got that right, Al. You're barking mad. You are by far the craziest...
But maybe that's inevitable when you deal with crazy stuff like this. It helps. This is happening, Barry. Alice, they never had Alice. She's trapped in the darkness at the bottom of the lake, but she's not dead.
Al, how can you know that?
I know, Barry. I can...
Al,
No, listen. I can bring her back. I can find her. There's something special about this place. The lake, it does something to the works of art created here. It makes them come true. But there's a catch. The dark presence, whatever that thing is, twists it to its own ends. That's why all of this is happening. It's using my manuscript to take over everything.
Al, I believe you.
It happened to Thomas Zane before it happened to the Andersons.
I believe you. Crazy or not, you're not delusional. Weird shit's going down. That's a fact. I'm on board, man. I'm with you.
The Andersons knew about it, but they were too far gone to tell me with all the drugs they were on. But they wrote it down. There's a message somewhere at their farm, Barry. We just need to find it.
Look out! God damn it, Al, talk to me!
I had lost my gun in the crash. Barry was nowhere to be seen.
Hey Maxie. Good day to you, dude. It's going well, thank you. How about yourself? Listen, that is a slight against trash pandas everywhere. Yeah, it's like all that ammo you saved up, hoping that you'd be able to carry it through the game, or at least to the next chapter. Ha ha! Nope. We take it off you. Take all the drugs that are on, bro. You sound like you're on speed yourself. Yeah. Good morning to you, Tech. Welcome on in. Sleep schedule is working out, is it? Oh, that's good. That's good. I was saying that I was going to end the stream once I got to a certain point in episode 4, and this is the point. I don't know if it's literally the halfway point through episode 4, but this is where I'm going to call it a stream. But made some good progress today, though. I got episode 3 fully done, and made this much progress in episode 4. So the next stream of this will be when it's Wednesday for me, and I'll be doing the rest of this episode, and I'll see if I can get 5 and 6 done. But if not, maybe just the rest of 4 and 5, given how thorough I'm being and meticulous, and how slow of a process trying to get all the dialogue in the game is, and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, this is where I'll call it a stream, and get back to this again tomorrow to continue on the playthrough. Tech, my luck. Yeah. Unfortunately, this is where I'm going to end. But thank you so much for popping back in, though, Tech. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everyone who has watched this stream. I really appreciate it, especially given what type of playthrough it is. I know that it's not something that everyone is sort of like interested in terms of like getting all the dialogue and stuff. But I just wanted to do something really in depth, and I've done this kind of playthrough in the past, but not to this extent though. Like, I tried to hear all the dialogue, but not to the extent of even backtracking or, you know, other things as well, and not actually moving forward and just waiting and seeing what gets said and all that kind of stuff. This is the most meticulous, in-depth playthrough I've done so far of the game. But if you see me streaming this game again, then you know it's become Wednesday. Just want to thank everyone so much for watching. Really do appreciate it. Going to give some shout outs before I end the stream. Tech, you just got to Alexandria and Tomb Raider 4 so far. Everyone keeps saying it's going to get harder, making you nervous. Yeah, and the thing about Tomb Raider 4, The Last Revelation, is there's locations that are separated by loading screens, and you do have to do some backtracking. But the good thing about that is, when you actually go from one area to the next that's separated from a loading screen, Lara gets all her health back automatically. So you can actually use that to your advantage. Go into an area, shoot all the enemies, kill them. Whatever damage you've taken, don't use your health kits. Just go back to the previous area through the loading screen, and you'll get your health back, and then just go back to where you were and then continue forward. You could do that with a lot of the levels in those old school games, but in Tomb Raider Last Revelation, it's even more cool to be able to do that, because you can just, you know, do an area, go back, get your health back and forth. So if you really want to save your health kits, that's a good tactic to use as well. Oh, Maxi, that's okay, dude. There's no worries at all. There's no such thing as coming in too late. You know, I don't have a watch set up for everyone and be like, right, this person hasn't turned up yet. X against their name. This person hasn't turned up yet. So it's all good, Maxi. Would like to highly recommend people check out Lucinda, who is playing through Resident Evil 4 Remake, specifically now the Separate Ways DLC with Ada, and the next game that she'll be doing as part of Horror Month after Resident Evil 4 Remake will be Resident Evil Village. For the first time, she'll actually be playing that game with keyboard and mouse. And she's also a fan of horror games like the Last of Us series, as well as the Evil Within series also. So I highly recommend checking out Lucinda's channel. Same with Maxi. He's playing through a variety of different games. Most recently, he finished Assassin's Creed Mirage, and also did a playthrough of Ghost of Tsushima on the highest difficulty with Kurosawa mode, and he's currently playing through Spider-Man 2. Tech is playing through all the main Tomb Raider games. He's currently up to Tomb Raider The Last Revelation, so playing through all those, including the reboot trilogy as well. Oh, that's okay for the stream, Brutus. Absolutely no worries at all. I hope you have a good one. Definitely see you next time. Would also like to recommend Crooked Toad, who is playing through The Last of Us, and is playing through that game on Grounded difficulty. Dr. Ronnie is playing through Assassin's Creed Black Flag. He's also a fan of Red Dead Redemption 2. He's actually a doctor and scientist in real life. He works in the field of regenerative medicine, so he's working on things like cures for Parkinson's and MS as well. And when he streams, he wears a hat, and he changes what hat he's wearing depending on the game. Also definitely recommend checking out Grace, was playing Bubba Is You. He's also a fan of games like Stardew Valley, another great streamer who has a really cool channel. No worries at all for the shout out, Tech. Absolutely no worries at all, dude. Mr. Gote is another recommended streamer, playing through Mortal Kombat 11. He's also a fan of horror, especially games like the Resident Evil series, the Dead Space series, Outlast, as well as games by Supermassive, like Until Dawn, the Dark Pictures series, and The Quarry. Shin is playing through Cyberpunk 2077. He's also a fan of Assassin's Creed, has played a few games of that in that series, and is also a big fan of JRPGs and MMORPGs as well. And Tylian does some just chatting, but he's also a fan of third-person action-adventure games like Control, Alan Wake, as well as Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Maxi, thank you for the shout-out, dude. Really appreciate it. We'll hope to catch you later. Thank you so much for dropping in, Maxi, and no worries for the shout-out, dude. Absolutely no worries at all. Tech good strat. It really is. Yeah, I love using that because I like to hoard my health kits in Tomb Raider games, because I'm like, I'd rather have too much at a time where I really need to heal than have nothing and really need to heal. That's okay for the stream and the shout out, Lucinda, as well. Absolutely no trouble at all. Thanks again, everyone, for watching. I really do appreciate it. The next stream of this will be when it's Wednesday for me. I hope that everyone has a good one. I'm actually going to raid someone I haven't raided for a while. I'm going to raid Hess, who is playing Red Dead Redemption 2. They usually do speedruns of Resident Evil 2, of Red Dead Redemption 2. So I might actually raid them and see how they're doing with that awesome game. Here's a general raid message that people can feel free to use. Here's one with some free follower emotes included. And here's one with some subscriber emotes as well. Oh, you did, Tech? You finished that game? Nice. Yeah, it's really cool. And I haven't seen like a speed run of it from start to finish, but there's certain really cool tricks that you can use to speed up the process of things as well, which I thought is, quite clever. Thanks everyone again for watching. I really do appreciate it. Coming up on the channel on Saturday, I'm going to be resuming my Assassin's Creed Black Flag playthrough. And on Sunday, Tomb Raider, The Angel of Darkness, to celebrate its 20th anniversary. Hope everyone has a good one. Catch you next time.